Matty, the Bombers face a big challenge this weekend against the Fremantle Dockers. Not only the Dockers as a side, but also Nat Fyfe, who's one of the most informed players in the game. How do you see that matchup unfolding? Yeah,
well, the great thing about Fremantle's midfield is they've probably got four guys in career best form. I think Fyfe is, David Mundy is, Lachie Neale is, and then you've got Michael Barlow and those types that around the edges who are also great players. Then you've got to deal with Sandilands. But yeah, Fyfe could easily be best on ground in the first of the 5 rounds this year. So I think aside from his kicking, which lets him down a bit, he's just got everything there is to be the best player in the game. I think Melsham is the man that you can't just let him roam free. I think Melsham's just got to compete with him around the stoppages. I think he can go with him in the air around the ground. When he does push forward, I think that is a sign that maybe a Bagley or a Hibberd could rotate with him. So it's something that if they can keep him to get a second man up, they get him one-on-one out on the wings in the wide open spaces of Perth. That's something that Essendon's got to be aware of and really pressure the players down the field when he's forward.
You mentioned Sandilands. It's such an imposing figure in the middle of the ground, and Essendon have struggled with the centre clearances so far this year. So what does Tom Bellchambers need to do to compete with him?
He's just got to try and break even, to be honest. It's not about probably Tommy putting it down the throats of Jobe and Heppel. It's about often even hitting the arm of Sandilands, jumping into him, and just trying to limit the perfect taps that Sandilands gets. So yeah, as I said, if you can make it a 50-50 ball where it's a scrap, that's probably as good as you can ask of Tommy against Sandilands.
And what about the keys to kicking and winning score this weekend?
Yeah, well, I think they're number one now for scores from clearances, the Fremantle Dockers. So that's where they were 7th last year, so they weren't making the most of Sandilands taps. Now they are. Without probably Crowley playing a defensive role. So I think, so it's that probably stopping that, number one, which would be a big key. If Pavlich and Walters don't play, that'll be nice and handy as well. But I think the forward line, the guys know where they've let themselves down a little bit with the way they've tried to work their space and work for each other. So I think Carlisle and Joey look set for a big game. I think maybe if there could be a couple of changes in the next few days where you look for a little bit more pace at the feet of those tools as well. So I think it's being with the Dockers at 3/4 times I touched on early in the week, and hopefully can overrun them because they've got a taxing game style they try and execute.
All right, thanks a lot for your time, Matty, and we'll review it next week.
Yeah, thanks, Simon.